Welcome back to Expand the Visual. I'm Jordan Taylor, author of How to Wash Your Brain, Rote Learning Secrets for Homeschool, High School, and Beyond. Now, this has been called the greatest book about education ever written, but why is it going to be great for you? The reason you should check this out is because it will make you learn faster, but also remember more. So if you have a family member that you're concerned about their learning, or you would like to enhance your own learning, check it out. We'll talk more about that later. But right now we're talking about how people go to learn from school, but it doesn't happen the way that it should. This is called edugenic harm, where the teacher ends up actually hurting the student, not helping the student. So today we're going to talk about what happens when you send your kid to school all in the name of grades. Now, I made a video last week about grades, and there's a link to that in the show notes. That covered kind of an overview, but I wanted to follow up on it because I was listening to an interview with Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, amongst other books. One of the ones I really think you should check out is called Fake. The point is, I was listening to that video, and he brought up some good points about basically why school is trash. And I realized that these reasons, at least a couple of them, fell right in line with what I talked about last week when it came to grades. So there are three things I want to talk about why, in the name of grades, teachers do some very bad things. Three very bad things. And then after I tell you what those things are, I'll tell you some ways that you can help your student, your child, or yourself as a student overcome these three bad things that teachers do all in the name of grades. So, what is the first one? The first one is that they give assignments and tests and quizzes and stuff like that so that they can come out with some sort of number, so that they can measure you, right? But what this does is it teaches you that if you make mistakes, you get measured based on those mistakes and you get labeled with something like a D or an F or a C. And this labels you as a failure because you made mistakes. The only people who get the A's are the people who did it perfectly, right? Didn't make any mistakes. And you might be thinking to yourself right now, yeah, that makes sense. But let me tell you why it doesn't make sense. In real life, the first time you attempt something, you get information back from that. You actually learn if you make a mistake. You learn the way not to do something, or you might encounter a new possibility. Creative people, all the time they make mistakes. It's the way to grow. It's the way to move forward. If you look at the stream in this YouTube channel, go all the way back to my first video, I decided instead of trying to be perfect and wait till I had everything in place, I was just going to start making videos and make mistakes. So you'll see that I had different cover photos back then. The audio was terrible. The video was of lower quality. I made mistakes so that I could get here. But if I was following the school model, my first video would have gotten an F, and I would have quote-unquote failed at the YouTube channel. That's not how real life works. So why does it work that way in school? We actually train students to not want to make mistakes. That's bad. That's a bad recipe for life. You have to be able to take risks. Alright, so that's one bad thing about grades. All in the name of grades. The second bad thing, this one cracks me up, is that, and even I in my last video mentioned something kind of negative about this, but Robert Kiyosaki helped me think about it differently. I said there's the student who can go home and have older brother or sister do the work for them, and they can pass that work off as their own and get an A, and they didn't really learn anything. Alright, so in an extreme case that is true, but we label asking for help like that cheating, when in reality, in real life, you should be going out and seeking mentors. You should be seeking people who know more than you, who are better at doing things than you. They will then guide you through the process. You'll watch kind of how they work. You'll be able to mirror them. All of those are great things about having a mentor. But if you do it in school, if you go find somebody who knows more than you and have them help you, we call it cheating. okay? If you have that mindset going into adult life, that's a recipe for disaster. But our school system has 12 to 13 years training people. No. You cannot ask for help. Ludicrous. All right? We ask for help all the time. You think of it, you have a team full of people. I reach out to people on the internet who can do things that I can't do. This increases my powers. It doesn't diminish me or decrease me in any way. It makes me stronger, it makes me quicker, more agile, and able to accomplish what I need to accomplish with teammates. Yeah, we're a part of a team. So, another way to think about this, no, I think that's the best way. Look at it as a team. And you know what? If I think that there should be a better way to explain it to you, I'm going to go ask some people and see what they think. I'm actually going to ask you, why don't you put it in the comments? If you think there's a better way to explain it, put it down there. You're my teammates after all. We're in this together. It's collaborative. All right, the third thing that is done in the name of grades that is absolutely ludicrous. I mean, ludicrous isn't even the right word. It's flabbergasting. Is that most of the work and the tests that you do in school, you're not allowed to use reference unless you get the rare open book test. So I remember right out of high school, I just developed this thing I used to tell myself over and over in my head was, life is open book. Yeah, you're not going to sit there and you're on your job and think, oh, it's a new situation that I've never seen before. Well, guess I just have to fail because I can't go look it up. I can't have an open book. That's freaking absurd. So, life is open book. Why can't school be open book? When I was in the Navy, we had it put this way. You don't always have to know the answer, but you have to know where to find the answer. Or if you know where to find the answer, then you know the answer. It's just one step removed. That applies not just to reference material, written material, or videos, but it also refers to, like I said earlier, those teammates. You can call them up. Hey, if you don't know the answer, you know where to find it. All right. So these are three very bad things, all done in the names of grades. We call it cheating if you ask for help. We call it cheating if you look something up. And also we discourage mistakes because mistakes get an F. So what should you do? Well, the biggest thing you should do in this case is start to develop a counter mindset. A counter mindset that can strike against what you've been programmed like in school. So a few ways. You know what? This is funny. I'm sitting here and I kind of have like my cheat sheet of notes propped up, but I can't quite see it, and I'm trying to pretend that I'm doing this all off the top of my head. That's my old school programming. Why don't I just ask you, the viewer, to hold on for a second while I review my little show notes that I put here. Hey, I'm going to look it up. I'm cheating. All right. So what I wanted to say was, for making mistakes. If someone makes a mistake, whether it's just in training, in life, or in school, here's what you do. Have them fix their mistake right away. Because then that shows them that they can take a risk, fail, and it's not the end of the world. That's opposite of the school model, which the school model is try, fail, and just get a stamp on your paper that says you're a failure. Oh, stupid. Okay? So instead, have the student or the trainee go figure out why they made the mistake. This is called remediation, and we just don't see it enough. But remediation lets you know that when you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. You can go back and fix it. And that's the attitude you should have in life. All right, look at me using my cheat sheet. The second thing, really what you want to do is ask yourself, anytime you hear somebody externally, or you hear yourself say, I don't know, follow it up with this, who would know? That's an instant reframe. So if you say, man, I really don't know what I should do next, immediately you want to train yourself to say, who would know? So the phrase, I don't know, should be followed by, who would know? Okay? In school, if a kid comes up, you ask them a question, they say, I don't know. Hit them with the who would know. You're training them to think this way. You're training them to go out and seek the help of others and rely on team members to make themselves have increased power. It's a good thing. All right, and then the third, you need to cultivate what I call a look it up mindset. I worked specifically with my students during this last school year having a look it up mindset. Whenever we were in class, and I would use myself as an example, I'm like, hey, that's a new word. I don't really know that word. I would ask the class, what should I do, class? And because I had trained them already, they would say, look it up. And we would stop everything right there and go ahead and look it up. This is training them to have a look it up mindset. And this look it up mindset can apply to so many things in life. Let's say you want to switch careers. But you're like, hey, I've always liked journalism. I want to become a journalist. And then you just kind of let that idea die. Well, why don't you look it up? Go on the internet and say, what does it take to get into journalism school? Do I need a journalism degree to even become a journalist? Can I be a citizen journalist? Can I just take out my phone and start filming things? Is that journalism? All these different questions. You're just looking it up. You're expanding your visual into the world of possibilities. It's great advice. So have this look it up mindset. Whenever you have the opportunity and the tools at your disposal and you're learning or teaching and there's some unknown crops up, stop what you're doing. Look it up. Feel free to pause your lesson or to deviate from it just so you can start to cultivate this look it up mindset. So, if these things are called cheating, let me tell you, cheaters always win. Because if you want to label a cheater as somebody who goes back and fixes their mistakes, or somebody who asks for help, or somebody who looks up the answer when they don't know it, that sounds like a winner to me, not a cheater. So, if these are things that you go, oh my God, school did program me to kind of be helpless, just go back, rewatch this video, incorporate those 3 tips to handle those 3 areas into your life. You're not going to regret it. Trust me. And then after that, if you want your learning to go faster and if you want to remember more, just pick up a copy of How to Wash a Brain, Rote Learning Secrets for Homeschool, High School, and Beyond. It's a short read, it's entertaining, but it's going to give you the tools that you need mentally to just start absorbing information and learning like a madman. I mean, you are going to be a learning freak. And that's what you want to be, because after all, that's what growth is all about.